You guys, we need to talk about Pete Davidson because he is getting so much backlash online with people calling him a deadbeat dad and all these things because his ex-girlfriend Elsie made a TikTok talking about doing things on her own, and everyone is like, oh my gosh, Pete, does that mean you're a deadbeat? What's going on? He's had some things to say in response. We're gonna get into everything being said right now. Pete Davidson is hearing it from those online as he's been called a deadbeat dad following his split from his girlfriend Elsie Hewitt. Pete, as I'm sure we all know, has become kind of infamous online for his celebrity dating history because over the last several years, he's been linked to some of the biggest names in entertainment. He dated Cassie David, which lasted from 2016 to 2018, and Cassie later wrote in her book that their breakup was extremely painful because it happened right before Pete moved on publicly with Ariana Grande, which I feel like just completely changed his public image. Him and Ariana were dating in 2018 after both getting out of long-term relationships, and they got engaged, they had matching tattoos, they moved in together, and they were always posting with each other. But after Ariana, Pete dated Kate Beckinsale in early 2019, and then later the same year he briefly dated Margaret Qualley before being seen with Kaya Gerber. Then he was seen with Phoebe, who I love from Bridgerton. And I feel like this was really like the peak of her getting big too. And then later came his most high profile relationship ever as he dated Kim Kardashian. That was just a crazy relationship. Kanye was really coming for his neck at that time. After Kim though, he went on to briefly date Emily Ratajkowski. Then he went on to date Chase Suey Wonders. And then after Chase, he was seen hanging out with Madeline Klein. So Pete has been seen in flings, hanging out and dating a ton of celebrities. But in March of last year, he started to be seen with Elsie Hewitt, and their relationship moved extremely fast. By spring, they were already living together and splitting time between Brooklyn and upstate New York. And then in July, Elsie shocked fans by announcing that she was pregnant, and her and Pete were just posting a ton of photos together. They did a ton of interviews. They were talking about their first date, and Elsie talked about how on their first date, she just knew that Pete was going to be the father of her children. I mean, they just seemed so happy and excited for this stage in their life. Though some people are trying to tell her now that like she shouldn't have been saying that on the first date and that this is Pete and his track record and all these things. People actually also speculated that they gotten engaged at one point in time because she was wearing a ring in some TikToks, but nothing seemed to be confirmed about that publicly. Their daughter, Scotty, was born in December of last year, and at first both of them publicly seemed really happy about becoming parents. Pete gave interviews earlier this year calling fatherhood awesome and saying Elsie was a fantastic mom. Elsie also posted multiple updates online about motherhood and shared sweet moments with Scotty and Pete on Instagram. But according to multiple reports, cracks in the relationship had already started showing while Elsie was pregnant. Sources claimed the relationship moved too quickly and that they didn't know each other very well before having a baby together. And well, recently it was said that they were really struggling behind the scenes, and even though they tried to work through their issues, it was official that they had broken up. Now, once they split, people already had things to say about Pete because of his relationship track record, saying that he just really isn't one to commit for very long, and people were like, if you can't tell by now, it's gotta be Pete that is the problem. But backlash really came his way after photos of Elsie went around online this weekend of her getting paparazzi'd. She was seen with the baby stroller getting a coffee, and she posted a TikTok online sort of poking fun at the photos and how she looked, but she made a comment about doing it on her own that had people like, wait, is Pete not helping you?
Yeah, I know. I'm exhausted, okay? I should have left the house looking nicer yesterday. I should have known that that was gonna happen. But that's not what I'm thinking about right now because I have a baby to take care of. And I also have to work and make money. And I'm doing it on my own, which is hard. Noted. Next time, I will try to look nicer when I get paparazzi on a walk with my daughter. Okay. I don't know how to get rid of the eye bags because I don't sleep.
She was also seen allegedly interacting with comments that were later deleted, but somebody said, "I hope you don't mean you're doing the financial part alone. That would be insane given the circumstances. You seem like a lovely person and a wonderful mother. We're all rooting for you." And she said, "I am," smiley face. Someone else said, "Sorry, but not staying with your partner when they are postpartum is insanely loser behavior. This is the most vulnerable time in a woman's life." And she said, "Amen, sis." That same day, Elsie was posting on her Instagram story saying that she was currently looking for assistance to basically help her out. She said, "I'm currently trying to find an assistant, mother's helper, nanny type, basically right-hand person. Apply here if qualified and serious, only looking at responses with resumes, paid of course," and she put her contact. Following all of this, people wrote that Pete's team had given them a statement in response to what she said. They wrote, "In response to Hewitt's claims, a source close to Davidson tells people Pete has made himself extremely available and has provided full financial support. Pete is actually covering all Scotty's costs and more." The insider adds he is hoping Elsie has good health and success for the sake of their daughter. The next day, Us Weekly published a new statement saying Pete is fully financially supporting the child and Elsie. A source exclusively tells Us Weekly he's very present in the baby's life. He wants nothing but the best for Elsie, and he shoulders all of the financial costs, including the costs for Elsie, her rent, and her health insurance. Elsie's post caught everyone around them off guard because they are simply not true. Now, as to why things didn't work out with them, The Sun wrote, according to sources, Pete and Elsie's relationship came to an end after the A-list comics' intense work schedule put a severe strain on their relationship. One insider explained that Pete's career required him to be constantly traveling, which clashed with Elsie's need for more support at home. People online have reacted and said, "I thought he said he wanted to be a dad for a while. What happened?" And Pete, no takebacks. It's sad when you really want a family with someone who leaves when the baby is born. Being a single mom is really tough. This is unbelievably sad. I can't imagine this strain on a postpartum mother. Men need to really get it together when it comes to women having their kids and how that whole hormone process works and the importance of patience. Help and care for the woman that risked her life to have a child for you. I feel terrible for Elsie. No woman doesn't deserve that. Sending love and support. Despite the love and support she received from other people at first, talking about how hard it must be on her postpartum, others then turned negative, criticizing her for having a baby with him, saying that she should have known better with his track record, that this would happen, and were not offering any sympathy and just straight up judgment towards her. She ended up posting a whole video on TikTok saying that the TikTok comments were really nice and supportive, but people on Instagram were just being mean and vicious, and obviously was really getting to her that these people were saying what they were saying to her.
Okay, it's 9:22 p.m. I'm writing a letter to Scotty because I've been writing her a book of little letters since before she was born. Besides the point, I just want to say TikTok is so much nicer than Instagram. Everyone on this app is like so supportive of one another. I don't know why I just started zooming in on my face. Everyone is so supportive of one another, and just like all of my comments are so kind. And Instagram, I think that that's like the general consensus. But like, I see a huge like difference. So I think I'm just more myself here anyway. Okay, it's bedtime. I've never been so tired in my life. See you at 6 a.m.
Now, Pete was at the Kevin Hart roast on Mother's Day, which did make me feel bad watching. I don't know. I mean, I know they aren't together, but they were roasting him for his relationships at their roast. And all I could think about was the fact that he just had another failed relationship and he's not with her on Mother's Day. She's taking care of the baby on Mother's Day. The whole thing, honestly, it just made me sad. And he's always talked about family and being a family guy. So I think people just really hoped that this was a turning point for him being in a relationship with Elsie, him having a baby, and are just really disappointed by what they're hearing and seeing being said online about him and his relationship with Elsie and the confusion surrounding the financials and everything. But that's what's being said about Pete. That's the backlash that he's been getting recently. I certainly want to know what you guys think about all of this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.